Alright, so I just watched this movie called Old People. So it starts off with this old man in his apartment, right? And this chick named Melissa's gotta go do night shift nursing and whatnot. So she goes to check, but realizes the door is already open. So she goes in there, sees the place a whole fucking mess. Now, when we first saw this guy, he's in a wheelchair, but then all of a sudden she turns around and he's just standing there. Then out of nowhere, he just bashes her fucking head with a goddamn helium tank. Melissa's done deal dead as shit. Then we go to this area with this lady by the name of Elle. She's driving with her son Noah and her daughter Laura. Now they're driving to go to their sister's wedding. But her sister's name is Sanna. Her and her significant other Mariko is supposed to be getting married tonight. Why at night? Who knows? So while that's going down, we see the divorced husband, David. He's ended up messing with some chick named Kim. Kim was the new girlfriend and she's supposed to be going to work. So they get to their house, they see their Aunt Sanna. And she tells her sister she's got this other separate like cottage or whatever like that Mariko's been working on. Guess that's supposed to be their love cottage or something like that. So Noah just basically wants to see his dad and his grandpa. Laura don't really care because she's still mad that they got divorced. And she got somebody that she likes down here too, this dude named by the name of Alex. So you know she about to sneak off with him eventually. So this guy's got like a motorcycle, he does have a boat. They ride up and down the coast and apparently Laura knows how to use it. Noah was able to see his dad for a little bit, but Elle feels some type of way about even seeing him, you know what I'm saying? Then Elle, his sister Sanna, and Noah all make their way to go see their grandfather. Now their grandfather's living in this like retirement home out there, but it doesn't look like it's been well kept since they get there. They end up finding one of the nurses and telling them like, look, we don't have that many nurses here to keep up with all the patients. So they basically try to do the best they can. And then you go through all the rooms, you see all these old people just standing there and shit. They don't even move. It looks like a horror show. It looks like they're all a bunch of retired zombies or some shit. So all of a sudden, we going through all the rooms, we find out Kim's there. Turns out Kim actually works at this nursing home. Noah's by himself. He ends up following this old dude, and then there's like a bunch of old people in one room, and he ends up finding his grandpa. But his grandpa, they ain't saying shit. As a matter of fact, none of the old people saying anything. Everybody just chalks up to Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever the fuck. So they basically just take him home so he could be there for the wedding. Now it's time for the wedding. Everybody's celebrating and having a good time. And at the retirement home, the old niggas gather around one room. They just want to listen to the music. You got these two nurses doing a night shift, one guy nurse and one lady nurse. Next thing you know, the guy nurse comes in there and he's like, all right, man, it's time for y'all to go to bed. He trying to remove her forcibly, but they ain't having it. The one nurse is going downstairs because she keeps hearing noises. She keeps hearing some lady screaming. I'm like, the fuck is going on? One of the old ladies ends up down in the basement and she's about to chew on a fucking electrical cord. She chews it, the power goes out, she kills herself. Then out of nowhere, the old nigga start attacking the male nurse, giving them the business, fucking him up. And for some reason, they don't move around slow like they old. They actually move quick. The lady nurse comes up back to the top floor. She's surrounded by old niggas, and she ends up getting murked too. So for some reason, we get to this flashback with Alex and Laura where they were going to this random spot. And it's like some type of weird stone just sitting there, right? But it's got an E and D next to it, so it's like Elle and David, you know what I'm saying, to be together forever or whatever like that. But obviously they weren't because they're divorced. So I'm thinking to myself, is this supposed to be the tie-in for old people going fucking crazy all of a sudden? Well, anyway, after the happy couple get married and whatnot, they go to their little love shack. About to give it a business, and that's exactly what he's doing. While he's doing that, one of the old niggas pops up downstairs. He sees an axe there, but he don't even want to take the axe. He takes this little ball off the bed, right? It's like a bed that was downstairs. He takes off his sock and puts the ball inside the sock. Then he proceeds to go upstairs and start whacking the fire out of both of them, killing both of these niggas. Well, Sanna tried to get away, but she stopped and turned around to look at him, and then he just flings it at her head. She just falls down the steps. I'm like, why would you stop? So she wasn't dead right then and there. He took that sock and just stuffed it in her mouth to make sure she couldn't breathe, and then she was officially done deal dead as shit. So later on, David and Kim are going back to the house, and then we're like, wait a minute, we seeing all these old niggas just pop up out of nowhere. And then we get to Elle in the house. She starts looking around the house, and she's like, all right, I see Noah a little bit. Then she's like, where the hell's Laura at? All of a sudden, she go downstairs. She sees Laura downstairs. Laura's like, hey, yo, what the fuck is there? All these goddamn old people running around. Elle about to open the door, but Laura's like, no, stay your goofy ass in the house. She ends up opening the door. It's one old guy that's all the way at the bottom of the steps. She goes up towards him. He turns around. And it was the old guy that was calling her Hannah when she went up to the nursing home earlier. So we're like, okay, there's some story narrative. Why she keep calling her Hannah? So he gives her a page out this book or whatever. It's like, Hannah, you have to protect the old. So I'm thinking to myself, is she the cure to a disease or something like that? Or it's like somebody controlling them like puppets? Like, what the fuck is going on? But then the other old niggas tries to attack her and shit. So we like, what the fuck is this? But the thing is, he don't attack her right away. He just scares her to get back in the house. And then David and Kim get to the house. And then when they go back in, all of a sudden, they can't find Noah. They're like, where the fuck do you go? And before all this, before they opened the door, the grandfather was downstairs. He was just like playing notes on the piano and shit. He really hasn't did a whole lot of movement up until this point. So back to present time, we realize the grandfather is not in the house. So now she goes in this bookcase to get a gun because bottom line is she gonna find her son. She goes outside with all these old niggas and right in the middle is the grandpa. And we're like, what the heck are you doing? Where's Noah at? Then she starts choking her, then she stops and she thinks that she hears Noah in the house. Meanwhile, while all this going on, the old niggas just standing there looking like old niggas. Then this main old nigga tried to attack him, and that's when the beef started in the house. Elle tried to shoot him but missed, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're too damn close to miss that for the fucking bullets in the gun. I'm like, are you serious? Then she ends up whacking him with something, taking him down. So as he's tied up, David's trying to get some answers out of him, but he ain't saying shit. So Ellie's had enough. She puts the gun on him and is like, yo, where the fuck is my son? And this when he finally speaks, he's like, yeah, you can kill me if you want to, because I don't know if I'm a human being or animal. So then I'm thinking to myself, somebody has to be controlling these old people or something. Then all of a sudden, Noah pops up out of nowhere. We're like, where the heck have you been? Turns out his grandfather told him to hide in a closet. So his grandfather was still trying to help him out, even though he sided with the old niggas. So if we go back to Kim, she's been having this look on her face the whole time, right? And she keeps looking like she wants to side with the old niggas. So when Ellie goes in the bathroom, Kim goes in there too. And she basically says she's been jealous of Ellie. And we found out Ellie was the one that left David, not the other way around. And she's mad that he still has love for her and the kids and whatnot. I'm like, damn, they his kids. Like, the fuck? Like, I guess whatever backstory they had, I could see if you had hate for Ellie or whatever, that's one thing. But don't have hate for the kids. They didn't do nothing in the situation. So at that point, that kind of made her irredeemable. And then they show a flashback where she was telling Laura to go somewhere. She was basically purposely trying to get Laura killed. So yeah, fans can't like you after that shit. So afterwards, Ellie goes to the front door to just check on things and see what's over there. Kim comes back, she starts apologizing. She just wanted to air out things, let it be known. And then I know where she whacks Ellie across the head with a fucking flashlight. She drags her outside and then locks the door on her and goes back in the house. I'm like, wow. And then the old niggas are ready to attack. But then I thought to myself, why did they attack her when she first went out there and was arguing with the grandfather? Maybe because she had a gun in her hand? I don't know. So David, the kids, and everybody come back to the door when they start hearing ruckus or whatever. First thing they see is Kim, but she's about to swallow this key. Realizing Ellie's probably on the other side, David goes over and is like, hey, yo, give me that fucking key, yo. She wasn't able to swallow it in time, and David goes to open the door. So it gets to the point where we see the old people are pulling at Ellie, and I'm like, okay, she's about to be done deal dead as shit. They were doing this for a very long time. I don't know if David had trouble opening and closing the door, trying to get her in, or whatever the hell he was doing. He was having trouble doing something. Laura grabbed the fire extinguisher and started spraying it outside. I don't know if that did anything, but they snatched her up multiple times in between that joint. So you're thinking to yourself, all right, Ellie's done deal dead as shit. Then all of a sudden she just pops back up and it hits in the house. And I'm just like, the fuck? So then I thought to myself, okay, maybe she's the link to this old people rioting and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Maybe she could put a stop to all this. But the dad still can't close the door. He ends up getting fucked up. Kim just can't take the fact that he's around Ellie. So she goes upstairs, walks out the window, and just jumps out and commits suicide. What the fuck? And then we see the old people end up killing her because apparently she wasn't fully dead yet. So then all four of them go back in his room. Bottom line is, the niggas is coming. David ends up losing too much blood. He's done deal dead as shit. So now we're only down to 3. So they moved this piano because there's still a passageway. And by the way, the rest of the house is starting to catch on fire because they done found fucking gasoline and started burning shit. So now they open up this passageway in the floor. They're going down it. But throughout it, the old people end up catching up with the mom. And then they finally pull her back in and then she's done deal dead as shit. So now I think to myself, if they pulled her through the passageway and finished her off, what took them so long? What the fuck were they doing when she was behind the door? They had her pretty much dead to rights for a long time before Laura even got that fire extinguisher. So I'm like, what the fuck was taking place there? So anyway, now it's just Laura and Noah. They get to the passageway to get to this other house, and it's pretty much morning by this time. So they probably been crawling around there for a while. She was able to check her phone. Apparently, she missed like 19 calls. I guess they got bad signal out there or something. And it was calls from Alex. She talked to Alex. Alex tells her that his parents are dead too. They told him meet him by the shore if he can get there. So they open the door, and all of a sudden, their grandfather is standing at that door. And then the strongest old nigga comes out of nowhere, and he pins her down, and he's about to finish off Laura. But then all of a sudden, Laura starts singing this random ass song. So at the beginning of the movie, she didn't feel like singing. But now considering what happened, I guess she had to resort to it. And that was a song that kind of brought tears to both of their eyes. And somehow in between that, grandpa snapped out of it and shot the older nigga. That did his shit. And then they all met up with Alex, who was somehow just on a boat. Taking them out there and survived their retired old man apocalypse. So apparently this was going on in other spots of the world too. And now I'm thinking to myself, what happened to them? Were they under some type of control or something? I mean, like, what made them go fucking berserk like this? Because their family members didn't love them anymore? I mean, like, yeah, maybe for some of them, but not a whole goddamn community of old niggas going crazy. It's like, what is this? You'd have been better off just calling them unretired zombies. They were just zombies on vacation and then went back to doing what they did best. Old people on Netflix, check it out.